everybody. You guys are adorable. I saw you were trying to guess what I was wearing today. Some of you were pretty close. It's pink and floral, but it's kind of gray overall. But I thought that was really cute. I couldn't think what the orange and white shirt was that somebody guessed. So yes, hello everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. Hey, Kaylin. This stream is open to anybody who would like to join today. It's one of those streams where I'm experimenting with different types of accessibility. But if there's ever a stream that's open to all, that will be the only one for the week. And the rest of the streams this week will be for members only to comment, although of course anyone can watch. Also, if you're a BTT Movie Club member, head on over to the community page on my channel, and we're voting on what day this month we're going to do our August watch-along. I think maybe we're going to watch another classic, but it's so nice to see everybody. I thought it would be fun to do a fall, I guess August is kind of fall. Hey, Ash, thanks for joining. Kind of like a fall TV streaming preview because it's pretty interesting. And then at the end of the stream, you can ask me anything that you would like. That's when the stream is opened up to any questions that you might have. Hey, Podge, thanks for joining. All right, so we're going to get started. I have a different way to mark the thing today because it's like that you can see that there's more than one story in each little square. So I'm going to use this remote to a remote to let you know when we're talking about which show. But I do want to just say up front, I took a poll this morning, which helped inspire me to do this episode, this live stream. And as you can see, hey Matt, thanks for joining. She-Hulk is number one. This is with 10,000 votes after just 2 hours. If you'd like to affect this poll, head over to my Twitter page and cast your vote if you haven't already. But as you can see, I'm very happy because that's the only female-led show here. And so that gives me hope for the future. And that She-Hulk is, sure, it's Marvel, but like some other female Marvel characters haven't done as well. So I was very happy to see She-Hulk in first place. But I was impressed that House of the Dragon was giving her a little bit of run for her money. So it seems like there's still some interesting Game of Thrones yet. And then Rings of Power and Andor, we're fighting it out for last place. And I'm surprised at how little interest there is in Andor, but we'll be discussing why that is. And you, of course, can ask me anything that you'd like about the things that we're discussing during that portion of the stream. This is interactive. Hey, Simon. That's the whole point of making this interactive. All right, but this is also the first time ever that we've had all these streamers and all these IPs competing against each other at the same time. I'm really excited to see how it goes down. We've got, let me get rid of the poll here so you can see all the images. Hold on. We've got Disney Plus, HBO Max, Prime Video, Netflix. Netflix just managed to get in here with Cobra Kai. That's why I included it. And then, of course, Disney again with Star Wars. But, Hulu's not in the mix here. Apple TV doesn't seem to have any big show to compete here, and neither is Paramount. So still, not everybody's in here. Thanks, Callum. Oh, that's an adorable little sticker. But yeah, so I think these aren't shows. Westworld's almost wrapping up. These are shows that are about to start, and they're going to all be competing against each other. All right, so let's get started. Let's start off with the first show. Hold on. All right, look, boop. Okay, there's the little remote. That's how you're going to tell what we're talking about today. There it is. It's so adorable. All right, so She-Hulk, and I'll tell you, I got my screeners this morning. I'm pretty excited about it. I got 4 episodes. One was not complete, so it was asked not to be considered for review purposes. I got 4 episodes. They're all about 30 minutes long. None of them have a 4 in front of them. And I think one of them actually had a 2 in front of it. But so they're like WandaVision length. So I got 4 of them, and I'll tell you what the embargoes are. The embargoes for the social media embargo is Monday, August 15th at 11:30 p.m. So the premiere must be that evening. No, these run times that I'm telling you are for the entire episode. Monday, August 15th at 11:30 p.m., which must be after the premiere for the show, is when you can tweet about it. That's the social media embargo. And then the review embargo is the day before, August 17th at 9 a.m., first thing in the morning. And then, of course, the show shall drop on a Thursday. on a Thursday. So this is Disney Plus Marvel getting in here. I think they're really ramping up the promotion, and I think they're doing a nice job with it. Yeah, it's 9 episodes, not 6. That's right, Manuel. They're doing a nice job. They're really playing up Daredevil to the point where I'm like, he can't be in it for that much. I think we should really be focusing on She-Hulk. But one of the problems with Ms. Marvel was that it didn't have enough guest stars. So I think that it's important to be like, we got the guest stars. Look, it's Matt Murdock, and he's dressed different. So that's cool. It's the exact same suit, though. It's the exact same suit, just with different coloring, which I find a little bit weird. We will not be doing watch-alongs for these shows. I'm switching over to just breakdowns so that I can do more live streams, because the way it was going is that I hardly did any live streams at all when a show was airing. And as you can see, there's going to be shows airing for forever now. Forever. I'm going to be reviewing all these shows. I don't know if I'll be covering them all week to week, but I'll certainly be reviewing all of them. Thank you, Brandon. Oh, that's very nice, Brandon. Thank you. So I'm sorry, but that's just what I've decided to do with the watch-alongs. But it'll allow me to give you more other content. Definitely breakdowns. I'll be breaking down all the episodes. Oh, your little sad emojis make me sad. We have to try it. I can't wake up at 2 a.m. for the rest of my life. All right, so I feel bad. I do feel very bad. But, I think that breakdowns is good. I think that, and being able to do more live streams, I think is more important. Anyway, I think they fixed the banner situation. They had a clip where he can throw the rock much further when he makes an effort, so that's good. And then I think it's really going to live or die on Tatiana Maslany's performance. I think that it's very, very important that she does a good job, and I think it looks good so far. Thank you, Manpreet. I waved to you a cute little sticker there. And I think She-Hulk could be big. I think She-Hulk could be as big as Wanda. Maybe not as big as Wanda, but close. I think She-Hulk could be really popular, and we need more popular female characters in the MCU. Who genuinely have a fan base. And right now we really only have Wanda, I feel. So I'd really like to see She-Hulk become as popular. That would make me very, very happy. That's very sweet, Devon. So does anybody have any questions about She-Hulk? Mika, I'd love for there to eventually be an A-Force, because She-Hulk leads that team. Wex Wuther. You are evil, Wex Wuther. You're Evo. I don't think Captain Marvel is that popular. I think she's cool in that she's so powerful, but she just hasn't caught on to the degree that, let's say, obviously, Tony Stark or Steve Rogers did. Thanks, PA Films. Oh, I think that's right. Who mentioned Yelena? Jay King, I think you're right. I think Yelena is extremely popular. So Yelena, too, I think has a lot of potential. I'll never forget. I've told you this story before. Natasha was popular, Daniel, but I think she missed her window. I went to see Captain America Civil War, and I was at a press screening, and they had let some audience members in to kind of give some flavor to the screening, so it just wasn't dry with critics. And I'll never forget that there was a woman in front of me who was punching along with Black Widow's action sequence at the beginning, when she's running through the marketplace in that cool trench coat. And I was like, wow, that woman really is into this. That's so awesome. And it made me so happy. And I just thought that was great. And I was like, that's the power of Black Widow. And they just never got her where she needed to be, unfortunately. Hey, Ben, thanks for joining. Juan says, do you think She-Hulk will be a main Avenger in the Kang Dynasty Secret Wars? Would you like that after watching the episodes? I haven't watched the episodes yet. I just got the screeners today. I'm going to watch them this afternoon. I'm very excited about it. But I would love for her to be a main Avenger team character. I think that would just be fantastic. And you just gave me an idea for a video. I love it. Okay. I think she's going to be great. I'm very, very excited. All right, let's move on to the next show. Josh, the show will definitely break the fourth wall. And they've already done that in some of the preview videos. Not the trailers, but some of the things that they've, like featurettes. All right, so next thing. Hold on, let me get the remote. Let me move it. Okay, the next story. All right. Boop. I guess I should say click. Okay, so there we go. There's the next one. House of the Dragon, which is actually coming up very, very quickly. Very quickly. Screeners haven't gone out for that to the general press. I believe some people who've done feature coverage have gotten screeners. but still, it's still very under wraps. I think they're really protecting this one. I think they want House of the Dragon to go out really well, and they do not want it to have a review problem before it comes out. But like, I'm hoping to get the screeners before it drops. This is HBO Max. They're slapping HBO Max on all the posters, but I believe it's an HBO show technically, because they want you to subscribe to HBO Max. So it'll be interesting to see, if that's helpful or not. I think, it's weird to be trying to still make HBO Max a brand when it's not going to continue to be a brand. But anyway, yeah, that's what they're doing. It starts Sunday, August 21st. So it's very, very soon. Very soon, actually. I think part of the problem is that the final Game of Thrones season, of course, made everybody very angry. And a lot of us who were Daenerys fans were particularly angry because we didn't like the way she was treated. So I see all these Targaryens, and I'm like, I don't care about you Targaryens. I like Daenerys, and she wasn't treated right, and making you guys look better isn't going to make me feel any better about the way she was handled. It might actually make me feel worse. Hey, Cheska. So I feel kind of bad about that. However, as some of you were pointing out, I do love me some Matt Smith. Matt Smith is fantastic. And I think he's done a great job advertising the show by saying, I often asked myself if I really needed all those sex scenes. And you're like, oh, really? Do tell. So, I mean, on the one hand, you're like, Danny, I don't believe it's been rated just yet, but it's an HBO show. They said it will not have a lot of strong female nudity because they don't want to have the same male gaze critique that I think the show started out with. But clearly, it's going to have a lot of sex scenes because Matt Smith's been going around talking about it. So on the one hand, you're like, oh, really? A lot of Matt Smith sex scenes, eh? But on the other hand, now you're like, Matt Smith didn't enjoy doing that. So now I feel bad about it. So it's a little bit like, you don't want to know how the sausage is made. Literally in this point. I just found new meaning for that term. So anyway, yeah, I think that, it's tough. It's tough. So we'll see. And we'll see how saucy these sex scenes are. I'm glad you guys got that, enjoyed that as well. So let's see exactly what Matt Smith had to do. But I'm curious. I'm certainly curious. I also want to know how many dragons are actually in this thing. Could they afford to do that many dragons? Let's wait and see. And then also, I think the first episode is going to be crucial. I think everyone in the world is going to tune in for House of the Dragon episode 1. But will they continue to watch? I don't know about that. Like, is anyone here not going to watch House of the Dragon episode 1? iHeart Movies never even watched Game of Thrones. It's going to try this. Some of you, Jared and Kay, you're not watching it? Well, that's interesting. Some of you are not going to check it out. And a bead of sweat appeared on David Zaslav's forehead to join all the other ones that he's having a rough time with. Well, that's interesting. Some of you are not going to try it. All right. Well, I guess we're going to be partying with naked Matt Smith without you. And a dragon. Naked Matt Smith and a dragon. It sells itself. Why isn't that the poster? I think it would be much more popular than this Daenerys knockoff they have on all the posters. I got to tell you, I'm a little annoyed about the Daenerys knockoff. And she's like, oh, will I ever be queen? And I'm like, no, I know for a fact you won't be queen because there was never a woman on the Iron Throne. So why are you wasting my time with this garbage? Hey, Antonio. I'm like, I know there wasn't one. And there wasn't the one that I even wanted. So we'll see. Alicia says too adult for her. That's interesting. All right, so we'll see how it goes. It's got to be a really, really... That's right, Denzel. That was the elevator pitch. I'm going to put a naked Matt Smith on a dragon. And HBO Max said... Or I guess Carrie Blois said, tell me more. Hey, Devin Henderson. All right. So let's go to the next story. So that's House of the Dragon. I'm excited. I'm excited. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to watch it. But I'm nervous. All right, I'm not even nervous. I'm suspicious. I'm watching as a Daenerys fan, and I'm still upset. Is anyone still upset about? Have you gotten over season 8 of Game of Thrones? I haven't. It was insulting. That's how I would describe watching it. I was insulted. Lloyd's like, forever. Ben, right? Still furious. Yep, a lot of Daenerys anger. Danny's like, I never watched it. But I can see a lot of you are still upset. Yep, that's right. I'm annoyed. I'm very upset. I was livid. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get over it. It was really bad. All right, I even flew to Los Angeles, as you might recall, for that fan event, and I was sitting in a room full of people, and I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Shocked. All right, let's get to the next one. All right, I'm excited for Amelia Clarke in Secret Invasion. I hope, Star Wars didn't work out for her. I hope that, I like Armin is like, I flipped a table. That's funny. It's funny because I could believe it was true. I'm not saying it's not, but I believe that might actually be something that happened. All right, next one. All right, The Rings of Power. Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. What a horrible title. It's even hard to it's really hard to know what to put in as the metadata. So boop, okay, beep, boop. So at the metadata, you're like, what do I call it? Do I call it Rings of Power? But no one seems to know what the heck Rings of Power is. But I call it Lord of the Rings. Is it the movies or is it the new show? It's really not made well for metadata. Although I was looking at their logo today for their Twitter account, and I was like, that's pretty nice. I like the way they have the Prime Video circle, and then the circle next to it with the Rings of Power logo, and I'm like, that's pretty good. So anyway, this is on Prime Video on Fridays, and it starts Labor Day weekend, just a few weeks after House of the Dragon. It's a lot of medieval fantasy all at one time. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous, but neither show would blink. They're playing chicken. They're playing medieval fantasy chicken, which probably was the game they actually played back then. And so Labor Day weekend. Let's see. But now here's the problem with this show. No leads, no clear lead. I think they promoted too many characters. In an effort to be like, look how many characters we have and look how many people are represented, you're like, okay, but who am I supposed to focus on? And they were like, we don't know. Who do you want to focus on? Tell us who the lead is, please. And you're like, I don't know. You didn't let me meet any of them. So that's kind of like part of the problem. So there's that, all right? Then also there's no stars. So there's not even a big actor that I'm like, okay, all right, what actor am I tuning in to see? It's a sea of nobody you've ever heard of. You see that elf who's the second one in? That elf of color on the left? Second one in from the left? That's the most appealing to me from everything that I've seen. I'm like, that guy looks cool. Everything else has not really piqued my interest, but I think that's the most interesting. Has anyone have a character that has piqued their interest in Rings of Power? Galadriel, right? That's supposed to be Cate Blanchett, right? The actress looks nothing like Cate Blanchett. So every time I look, I'm like, is that Cate Blanchett supposed to be? Why does she look so different? A lot of Galadriel love. I can see why they're putting her on the posters. But then at the same time, they're all like, look how diverse our show is. But the lead is still this white blonde lady. And you're like, wait a minute. Sauron would be cool. I'm impressed. You guys know some of the characters. That's interesting. I like it. Super excited, Dav. Oh, now your excitement is rubbing off on me. Oh, that's very nice of you, Conda's Nuts. Gil-galad and Galadriel. That sounds like their name is the same. I got to brush up on my Lord of the Rings. That's the other problem. Lord of the Rings, it's been the biggest break of all these shows. It's the biggest break for the IP. You're like, when was the last time I watched a Lord of the Rings movie? The last time I watched a Lord of the Rings movie was I went to see the final Hobbit movie in IMAX, and I fell asleep during the movie because I was just nothing much was happening, and it was when they were lost in that cave. Remember they were lost in a cave and they were trying to find their way? I fell asleep. And then when I woke up, they were still in the cave, and I was like, whew, thank goodness. So anyway, when I was walking out of the theater, I heard another group talking and trying to compare notes on when they had fallen asleep during the movie. And I was like, that's hilarious. That's The Hobbit in a nutshell. You're like, hey, when did you doze off? And you're like, oh, me too. So yeah, so anyway, so it's even worse when you're at home. You might never wake up. So yeah, I did The Dark Savior. I fell asleep, and it was a Hobbit movie. With these movies, like Lord of the Rings, I never knew what was going on in Lord of the Rings. It was a little like watching a Harry Potter movie. You're like, it's pretty to look at, and I think this is interesting. I don't know what's going on. Because, I think it's hard to get all that, the story into a movie. Maybe this will help with the series. I hope they do a lot of stuff with maps and everything, and they're like, we are here. And you'll be like, okay, now what are we trying to do? And I'm like, they need bullet points. This is on Amazon. And in Amazon, they do have like that thing on the bottom where they tell you what actors are in the scene. I wish that you could like turn on like what's happening vision, and like a little thing on the side would be like, in this scene they're trying to do this, and you'd be like, okay, all right, that's good. So because it's just really difficult. Like I know who Sauron is, I know who the big eye in the sky is, and I'm like, okay, cool. So yeah, so the other thing that's interesting to me is that where Amazon has found a lot of success, where Prime Video has found a lot of success, is by leaning conservative. The Boys, The Terminal List, Hey, It's Only Tuesday. You know, that's a good question. No one knows what this show is about, even though they've had all these trailers. They're like, you know what this show's about? The Lord of the Rings, and we spent a lot of money on it, so you better show up on September 2nd. And you're like, okay. So, Stephen, The Boys is not conservative, but it actually, I think The Boys is one of those things like the Colbert Report, where it appeals to both liberals and conservatives. I feel that The Boys appeals to, it's liberal commentary, but I think it has appealing conservative characters. So I think everybody looks at it, it's like a Rorschach test, and everybody sees what they want to see. And that's why The Boys, I think one of the reasons is it's so successful. So I think that's a big part of it. I think they became more aggressive, as the Need side said, this season. And I think that they're aware of that problem, and so they decided to become more aggressive and more critical of conservatives. But I feel like Homelander is just extremely charismatic, and you're always going to have some conservatives who gravitate towards that show and see him as a positive. He is an incredibly compelling character. I mean, I love the whole cast, but that show would be nothing without Anthony Starr as Homelander, because he's just really, really incredible, that character that's been created. However, the reason I bring up the conservative angle is that Rings of Power is extremely liberal. So the people who are tuning into Amazon, who have built up its audience to a large degree, I think aren't going to like the show. But maybe they will. I mean, let's see. But I mean, to me, I feel like I see a definite direction for Amazon, and I don't see that the Rings of Power fits with the direction that they're heading in. Can they diversify their portfolio? Yes, they can. But let's see if it works out, especially going up against House of the Dragon. So I want to see how big is the spectacle. I want to see just how big is the spectacle that they provide. And also, I think a big thing will be how good is House of the Dragon. If House of the Dragon is really good, that's going to suck for the Rings of Power. I mean, are you going to watch 2 fantasy shows a week? I mean, I will. There's only 1 episode a week. Why not? They're on different days. They're on different days. I'll watch one on Fridays, and I'll watch one on Sundays. But I mean, it's a lot to ask of some casuals. Casuals, of course, being people who aren't hardcore into genre fandom. Thanks, Alan. That's very sweet of you. Now, some of you are pointing out Wheel of Time. That's the other thing that could happen here. A ton of people watch the show, but nobody talks about it. I think that could be something that happens. That you just have a ton of characters, a ton of people watching, and yet it has no chatter online. Because that's what happened to the Wheel of Time. We'd look at the Nielsen ratings, and they'd be like, look at all these people watching Wheel of Time. And you'd be like, that's crazy. Where are they? And they'd be like watching it in secret, I guess. So we'll see. I think the Rings of Power, we'll see what, it's important for these shows to trend when they air, and we'll see if they do. I think their trailers their trailer and Comic-Con presentations were only medium. Sandman was only medium, and that was kind of like a test subject, and I think that's done well on Netflix. You'll notice that Netflix is the only service here who's not doing weekly. Their show is going to drop all at once, and then they're out. They're like, peace out, enjoy, whereas all these other shows are weekly. So I wonder how long Netflix will hold out with that model. Methinks not for long. All right, so especially because I told you recently, breaking up Stranger Things season 4 into 2 parts was kind of like a good compromise. Netflix could at least break these things into part 1s and part 2s. I think that worked very well with Ozark, and I think it worked very well with Stranger Things. I think that's kind of the way to go. All right, so that's that one. Let me go to the next show. Hold on, we got 2 more to go. All right, hold on. 1 second. All right. Boop. All right, Cobra Kai, which seems to star a Targaryen. No, that's Terry Silver, who now has silver hair to match his name. I'm not a big Cobra Kai fan. I'm not a big Karate Kid fan, but you cannot deny the power of this show. Its fandom is intense. And so this is season 5 that's coming up. It's going to be on Netflix. The full season will drop on September 9th, which is a Friday. That's the week after the Rings of Power debuts. And it's extremely popular. As I told you, I watched season 4 and I was like, this is nuts. You just have roving gangs of karate kids going around this town breaking into fights. How would the town allow that? Why wouldn't the local law enforcement be like, you guys just can't have karate fights all over town? It's crazy. But that's exactly what they do. I don't know if anyone saw they had this big karate fight at a house party and you're like, what's happening? I don't know why a lot of those kids just didn't go home. I'd be like, Mom, you gotta come pick me up. A karate fight has broken out here. Hey, Brandon Jensen. Which dojo am I? I gotta be, I think I would be, I don't know. I really like Johnny Lawrence's redemption arc, but and Danny LaRusso is like the guy. I'd like to go with Chosen, quite frankly. I thought, Chosen showing up last season was fantastic, cool guy, and Chosen apparently is going to be showing up some more this season. So yes, I do know my Cobra Kai a little bit. So Terry Silver showed up. He got John Kreese sent to prison, so you're going to have some prison fight scenes maybe against adults, which I think is pretty funny. And, again, you have Johnny Lawrence versus Danny LaRusso. And so that's, just seeing how these guys who are adults have evolved. Also, of course, the young star of the show is the new Blue Beetle. That's just to show you how popular Cobra Kai is. That guy leveled up to being Blue Beetle. And I think he's very well cast. If the movie ever comes out, it's scary times over there now. Olivia Newton-John just passed away. That is sad. That's very sad. She shouldn't have been that old. Oh, man. That means 2 other celebrities better watch out. They always die in 3s. So who here is a Cobra Kai fan? It's the only thing that Netflix has in these 2 months. 71 only. Oh my goodness. I gotta look that up when I get off here. That's very sad. That's right, Tommy. Elena getting dusted in the bathroom was amazing. Does anyone watch it? Caleb watches it. That's awesome. She didn't die? I don't know. Other people are saying she did. I didn't see it. I'll look it up after this. All right. So most of you don't watch Cobra Kai, but someone's watching it because it's really popular. All right. So she did die from breast cancer. Oh, that's so sad. Get all the tests that you're supposed to, everybody. Oh, that's very nice of you again, Saw. They're having the Asia premiere on the 19th, 2 days before. Premiere for what? Rings of Power? Oh, 2 days before the House of the Dragon pilot. The competition is extreme. So pumped for both. May fantasy reign. From your lips to the god of entertainment. So yeah, always get your tests. Always test. Side note, always get your tests. And don't be embarrassed to get tests. Everybody's got to do it. Some of these tests are pretty private and invasive. But you know what's worse? Dropping dead. So just go get them. Doctors specialize in this. And also, everybody's got to do it. Everybody. Literally everyone. So, and if you're uncomfortable, just don't tell anybody about it. Just go to the doctor and take care of it. All right, because that's very, very sad. All right, so, and these things move fast. So you can't put off getting your tests because I heard a story once of someone who didn't want to get tested. It was from breast cancer, actually. And it was a friend of a friend of a friend, and apparently she waited just long enough to make it that she couldn't. It was it couldn't be fixed. So, and it was just a few weeks, maybe like a month or so. But you got to be really, really careful. So yeah, very tough. All right, so that was the sad but necessary side note. All right, one more, and then we'll open it up to anything you guys want to talk about. So one more. All right, Andor. Boom, baby. Andor. All right, the last one out. It had to be moved to protect She-Hulk. Andor comes out September 21st with 3 episodes, Wednesdays for now. Who knows if they'll move it. Again on Disney+, but now this is their Star Wars show. Disney's bookending the situation. They're kicking off with Marvel. They're ending with Star Wars. Very low buzz, shockingly low buzz for this show. Whenever the trailer comes out, no one seems to care, which is really weird because it looks incredible to me. And even with the last trailer, people were like, oh, Tito, I Am Groot is just 5 episodes on Wednesday, and they're all dropping at once, and then it's done. So it's not, it's more like, I Am Groot is more like the Baymax shorts. So, Armand, thank you for sharing your story. That's important. That's great. You might, always check with your doctor. You never know. You could be, cancer is striking people at much younger ages these days. So that's all right, Tito. Don't worry about it. All right. So anyway, Andor. No one's really been talking about this, which is weird to me because Rogue One did make $1 billion. And for many of us, it's our favorite Disney Star Wars movie. I think part of the problem is it's pretty far out. And then another problem is that it doesn't have any really big Star Wars characters except Mon Mothma that anyone's really familiar with. Not even any K2SO, man! K2SO! So I think that's a big problem, that you're like, well, what show are we excited about? And then also, Mika just pointed out that Boba Fett and Obi-Wan weren't particularly good, and Logan seconded that. I think the problem is that there's a lot of Star Wars fatigue. And I think maybe they've had too many Star Wars shows. Clinty, I'm glad you're excited for Mon Mothma. And I think that it's a shame because this one looks like the best one. Hey, Jake, thanks for joining. And for Movie Club, make sure you go vote on August's watch-along date. But yeah, I think there's just it's just too much. People are like, I've watched too many Star Wars shows and I didn't like any of them. I mean, I don't know. They get me every time. I have fun watching these shows, so I think they're good. But I'm excited. So I think Andor is going to be great, but I can tell you of all these shows, it seems to have people the least excited. I hope it has some surprises up its sleeves. It really needs them. All right, so those are the stories of the day. It is 3:36. You may ask me anything that you would like until 3:46, and then I'll do some shout-outs. I will not be doing watch-alongs, Alex. Hey, Vinicius. I will not be doing watch-alongs for any of these shows, I'm afraid. SC, I might do a Sandman spoiler review. I'm still having some personal issues that I'm dealing with, which is unfortunate that it's taking so long. So I'm trying. I mean, that's why I couldn't do spoiler reviews last week for Sandman or Prey, which I was disappointed about. But I'm trying. It's hard if you don't do it when the show or the movie drops. It's really hard to go back and do it. I did see Rosario Dawson talking about The Punisher. She said, "Oh, somebody just told me, and I believe them. It was just a fan. It's my fault." And it's like, well, I think she's been right about stuff before. But I think, I'm surprised that, I think it must be hard to have people constantly asking you questions. And, especially if you're not a scooper and you're not used to it. But she should just say, talk to Disney, talk to Marvel. Let's see here. Kay Walton, yes, I will be covering D23 extensively. And it's going to be crazy because they have all kinds of stuff going on. Let me just tell you that there's actually a Disney earnings call on Wednesday. We just had the Warner Brothers Discovery one, and Disney has one on Wednesday, same time, 4:30 p.m. But I don't think it's going to be too big in terms of news because, as you just pointed out, D23 is right around the corner. Let's see here. Danny Boyd says, is it too weird to do a movie math on how Discovery makes their money? I'm fascinated by how they make bank when they seem so niche. I'm kind of covering that. You mean about their different, what do you call it? On their different, revenue streams? That's an interesting thing. Warner Brothers Discovery is still very, very new. It's still forming. It's hard to report on it. I'll also tell you that David Zaslav kind of scared me a little bit on Thursday. He is a smooth customer. He's a tricky guy. I think you got to really watch him, and we got to be really careful. And I think a lot of people are, because it's so clickbaity, a lot of people are trying to dogpile in on this story now. So really take everything you hear about Warner Brothers Discovery with a grain of salt. I don't even think David Zaslav knows what he's doing for sure. And I think he's the kind of guy who I suspect would maybe change it up just despite some of the stories that are out there. So this is going to be really tricky. So JB says, any chance they'll release Prey in theaters? I was livid that something like Easter Sunday was in theaters, but Prey was on streaming. I can understand, JB, that being really frustrating for you, but think of how great that was for Hulu. I would imagine, considering how popular it was over the weekend, and I did see it trending several times, that they probably are like, we could have released that in theaters, but they didn't. But I think that maybe you'll see another Prey or another Predator movie. So I think, you should know that I think you've helped the brand for sure. Let's see here. Toon Limkin says, do you think, hold on, where'd that go? Oh, it jumped down. Okay, are the J.J. Abrams DC projects going forward, especially Constantine? I think that Warner Brothers Discovery is pretty upset with J.J. Abrams because he's not producing anything, and they paid him a ton of money. And then also they just did cancel the project he was most excited about. So I think that J.J. Abrams, I don't think anything that is, even anything that's in the can, is not necessarily going to go out. I think that it's really tough right now at Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't think that anything is 100% safe unless it's actually airing or running commercials. Dancing Dog 60 says, Grace, if Henry doesn't come back, who is in the running to be cast as Superman? Way too early, I think, for that conversation, I'm afraid. But I appreciate your enthusiasm. Daniel says, do you watch any of the Real Housewives shows? I sure do. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I love that show. I can't quit it, even though sometimes it's too trashy. Jeremy says, hey, Grace, just wondering if you've seen The Bear. Also, have you heard anything about test screenings for Billy Eichner's LGBT rom-com Bros? I have not heard anything about test screenings for Billy Eichner's Bros. I'm curious to see what the crossover appeal is for that. I watched Uncoupled over the weekend, and I think it would be hard to be better than Uncoupled. Uncoupled with Neil Patrick Harris was fantastic. I loved that show. I don't think it's any more adult than any kind of show like that, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was good. And it really ended on a cliffhanger. I was like, you better renew this show. Brandon says, the most important question of the day, how was your day? P.S., what is your favorite lightsaber color? That's very nice. That's very sweet of you. My favorite lightsaber color, I guess I'd have to go with blue. Although I like the idea of being a gray Jedi, which means I would get like a white or gray lightsaber. I think that's pretty sweet too. Ahsoka has white lightsabers. She looks pretty good with the white lightsabers. I like those. Danielle. Danielle, it's always so nice to see you. Always happy to hang out with you here. I just binged Parallels on Disney Plus from France. It was an amazing quick watch. Oh, thank you for the recommendation. Disney Plus is just so consumed with its brands that we never really see anything else kind of jump through. Danny, don't worry. I'll be staying on top of all the Discovery content for sure. Steven Turner says, do you think Gaga will be trying for an Oscar with Joker 2? I can't wait to see the audience being full of Joker bros with little monsters. That'll be a party. I think that I've heard some very dark things about Joker 2, and we'll see if it's true. I'm nervous. I don't want the movie to go too far. Oh, that's a great question, Geek Legion of Doom. What are my thoughts on Giancarlo Esposito as Professor X? As I always say, if you want a race bend or gender bend a character, you have to get the core of the character still just right. And Giancarlo Esposito is so Professor X. I think that's a fantastic idea. You wonder, how could you top Patrick Stewart, or James McAvoy and not make it seem like, why don't you just go and get them? I'll tell you how. You get Giancarlo Esposito. I think it's one of the greatest ideas I ever heard. How do you guys feel about Giancarlo Esposito as Professor X? I would be so excited for that. I don't even know what to say. And I have to remember, Professor X isn't always so nice. So I think it works. Some of you would prefer to see him as a villain, but I just liked Giancarlo Esposito is so great. I just like to see him in anything, and I'd like to see him get something that was consistent. Too often he just shows up like in The Mandalorian. He's like, hey, then you're like, stay, and he's like, no. Or on The Boys, and he's like, hey, and you're like, oh, stay, and he's like, no. So if he could just stay, I'd be really happy. I haven't watched the latest Westworld. Was that the finale? Damn it probably was. Don't ruin it. Poke, I'm not sure when the Young Avengers are coming anymore. It's taken too long. I think Kevin Feige might have a little bit too much on his plate. He's choking on it. There's just too much. I don't know why he would start assembling them if he would not actually put them together. Denzel says, if you had the chance to reboot the DCEU with 3 B-list characters, kind of like what Kevin Feige had to do with Marvel, that's interesting. Who would you give a movie? That's really tough. I would love to see like a Green Lantern, Jon Stewart, Hawkgirl movie. I'd really and Zatanna, I think that Zatanna is a good choice for a movie. I think they have some good ideas, but unfortunately they're just so mired in like gobbledygook that you're like, well, I think that the idea of DC taking a break and resetting and like taking a break, like Star Wars is doing, like a couple year break from the movies and maybe building up from the TV shows like Star Wars, again, like Star Wars is doing, I think would really be beneficial for them. Yes, Danny, Joker is supposed to be a full musical. I mean, you have Lady Gaga. I'm excited to see Joaquin Phoenix sing. C. Bowers, yes, Moon Knight 2 seems to have been confirmed. We got to get some Jake, right? We got to get him in there. I'm excited. Chesia, Heartstopper is 1,000% worth watching. It's a charming show, and they've renewed it for 2 more seasons, and so there's definitely going to be a lot more coming, so that's really great. Let's see here. Steven says, will She-Hulk have more cameos than showed in the trailer? It better! It would be stupid for them to give away all their cameos. That would annoy me. You guys gave me a good idea for a video this week. I'm excited. Paul says, do you think that Zaslav is making the right decisions overall so far? It's hard to tell because, you might be like, wow, he's crazy like a fox. But I think right now, I think that I would not have canceled Batgirl. I think that will be, just like I knew that having a Snyder cut would haunt the Justice League, I can tell you that Batgirl will forever haunt David Zaslav. He would have been better off releasing that thing quietly. Stu Max says, well, Disney Plus Day will be better this year. It was great before. I think Disney Plus Day is going to be incredible this year. I'm extremely excited about Disney Plus Day. Pinocchio comes out the day before. I can't wait. Let's see. I see some. Let's see here. Banjo says, I saved this money for Black Adam, but with Zaslav hijinks, I decided to give you this money instead. Ah, you deserve more than any Warner Brothers CEO. That is extremely sweet of you. I hope that Black Adam is good. And then Grazer says, I'm going crazy because I think Deadpool 3 needs to be branded X-Force and then do an MCU retcon 90s X-Factor like Friends meet Cyberforce. That's not a bad idea to bring in some X-Men that way. I think that's pretty clever. I like that. Let's see here. Grazer says, cringe is my religion and I ain't sorry. Okay, that's good. Good for you. Madeline, it's so nice to see you always. What do you think about the Netflix K-drama release strategy? Drop 2 episodes a week. Is that what they've been doing with their K-pop, their K-dramas? I have not seen that. I don't think 2 episodes, maybe Mrs. Maisel did 2 episodes a week, and I thought that was really great. It made for a little movie every Friday. I thought that was good. It will be okay, says, will DC ever stop trying to make Cyborg happen and give us a live-action Jon Stewart Green Lantern? I think that, ironically, Jeff Johns pushed Cyborg because he leveled him up from the Titans to the Justice League with the New 52. But everybody was like, but we all love Jon Stewart from the animated series Justice League. But Jeff Johns kept pushing Cyborg and then, because he's nuts, got into a fight with Ray Fisher and then destroyed Cyborg. But yeah, I think Cyborg clearly belongs with the Titans, and I think Jon Stewart Green Lantern is the character of color that fans really want to see on the Justice League, and it's like pretty freaking obvious, and I don't understand why we have to even fight with this. Brett, I'm afraid I have not heard who Shea Cooley is playing in Ironheart. Also, I'm so excited for her. I don't know if I want to ruin that news. I would like that to be as much a surprise as possible. Stardust says, who are your top 5 favorite Spider-Man villains? I like the Sinister Six, I guess, minus Vulture. Although I liked how they updated Vulture with Michael Keaton. Hey, Tito. I miss Alias, my favorite show ever. Did you used to watch it? Jen Garner, best person in the world. I never watched Alias, but I thought that red wig was pretty brilliant. but I've not watched it. And, this J.J. Abrams show they just canceled was supposed to be his thing he was most excited about since Alias. But Warner Brothers Discovery still said nope and pulled the plug on it because it was too expensive. Oh, the finale is next week, Bence? I don't know. I don't know if there's enough interest to do a Westworld. Maybe I'll talk about it in a live stream. Someone says, when do you think Kate Bishop will come back? Well, she's going to be in the Marvel Zombies animated show. So that's good. She's got that going for her. Cineverse says, what are your thoughts on the Tolkien estate and Amazon not wanting Peter Jackson to be involved with Rings of Power? Well, the reason that is because Warner Brothers still has the rights to release movies, and they want to do something with that. And Peter Jackson, of course, is associated with those. So it's a real cluster F, and I think Amazon is trying to draw a clear delineation between the brands, because they only have the rights to Lord of the Rings on the small screen. So I can understand it. I think it's sloppy that the rights are divided up like that. Mika says, Walter Hamada is reportedly furious with Zaslav over Batgirl. Do you think Zaz will give him a producing deal? I don't know. I don't know if he's friends with him. Zaslav's been a big Hollywood player for a very long time. He knows how it's supposed to work. But at the same time, I think Walter Hamada has caused a lot of problems for Warner Brothers Discovery. I saw a lot of spin over the past few days, a lot of damage control, a lot of spin control. Somebody pointed out to me, a friend in the industry said, why on earth would they want to keep Walter Hamada around to run DC films when they didn't even do him the courtesy of giving him a heads up that they were canceling Batgirl, which was a movie that he greenlit, and he had to find out over Twitter. That doesn't sound like someone that you want to stay in business with. So I think that just makes no sense. I think they're just buying themselves time, and I think any stories about keeping him around are just to be polite. They're too damn polite over there. And at the wrong times. You fire these people, but you release Batgirl. Oh, Luis, that's very sweet of you. Marvelous. I really like Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm enjoying it this season. I think Garcelle is so great on the show. And I like Sutton, although I do think she gets herself into a lot of trouble. I think she doesn't own it. Although, speaking of that, I really hate Lisa Rinna, and I hope she gets taken off the show. I miss Lisa Vanderpump. Justice. Denise Richards and Lisa Vanderpump. Justice for those women. Marina, that's so sweet of you. I haven't heard anything about the new Bong Joon-ho movie, but I think that I'm very excited for Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson really did pull Leonardo DiCaprio and turn his career around from starting out as a teen heartthrob. So I'm very, very impressed. Chris, I do not think that Patty Jenkins will make Rogue Squadron. There are rumors that Anthony Starr is going to play Dracula, but I have not been able to confirm that. And quite frankly, I feel that would be a huge waste of his skill set. It would just be like Dracula Homelander. I think we can do better than that. Vincent, I'm extremely excited for the Westworld season finale. It's an incredible, incredible show. Jen, I saw that about Olivia Newton-John. It's very sad. We had a little conversation earlier in the stream about the importance of getting checked for your cancer screenings. Just Josh, anyone can comment on a live stream about once or twice a month. So members are still every other live stream. And there are going to be more live streams. The live streams will be more of because I don't have to have a crazy sleep schedule for the watch-alongs. Oh, Tyler, I'm so glad you liked Severance. It's so good. Mika, I don't believe Eternals is necessarily happening. I think that was very nice of Patton Oswalt to say that and to be so supportive of Chloe Zhao. But considering how busy Kevin Feige's dance card is, it seems nuts to me that I heard that people who worked on set of Eternals, let's just say, didn't have a great time. And for that to just be totally ignored and to move forward, let's just see what happens. Okay, there should be a live stream tomorrow and Wednesday. Oh no, the live streams this week will be tomorrow and then also on Thursday because there's no live stream on Wednesday because that's the Disney Investor Day. Daniel, I can't watch Real Housewives of New York because I'm a New Yorker and I know all the places they're going and I know they're not that glamorous. I'm like, that's not that glamorous a place and you're just trying to pass it off as glamorous. So I can see right through it. I can see through the charade. But one of the things I like about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is that a lot of those women are actually very like legitimately successful, and so I think that's really cool. And you know, they're more than just housewives, so I like that. I mean, I like business, so I guess that's why I like the show for that reason. Chris says, what MCU project are you looking forward to being announced at D23? Let's see. You know, hopefully a Scarlet Witch project would be great. I think they're pretty marveled out, though. I'd be surprised at what Kevin Feige has saved for D23. I suspect it's going to be some more interest, as Harold just said, some more stuff on Fantastic Four. I don't know if he's going to announce any new projects at, Sledge. I haven't watched Dubai, and I've seen that it's become quite popular. They're probably insanely wealthy, knowing what we know about Dubai. But yeah, I think that I haven't heard. I will not find out what's going to be at D23 until much closer. It's too far out for me to get the tea on that. But I suspect that it will be more clarification on projects that have already been announced, like Ilion said, maybe something about Thunderbolts. But yeah, I think they were probably saving the Avengers movies for D23, but then it leaked because of the trademarks. Ross, I'd love to see Vixen out there. I think that's great. I'm a big fan of Vixen. But I'm not sure who should play her. I think, they should be open to a lot of casting. All right, look, I went way over. I did 20 minutes because I love talking to you guys. All right, let me do some shout outs. So just tell me what you're up to. Hey, Rose, just so I can say hi to you. You know, if you're eating anything, if you're doing anything, if you have anything planned. Joseph, tomorrow's your birthday. That's so exciting. Hey, David Stoker. Nayart says, hi, I'm from Vegas. Can't wait for the next movie night. Have an awesome day. You too. Dimension is having a cinnamon roll. Oh, that sounds delicious. Abdullah is from Algeria. Oh, that's so nice. I love your emojis. Taking a mid-season break from The Sandman. Oh, that's great. That show is built for that. Written Fool says, bye, Grace. First time on chat. I'm so glad you could join. And Alex is eating pizza in San Francisco by the beach. I love it. Benz is about to watch the latest Westworld in Hungary. Gregory says, just watched Elvis, loved it, and I'm doing some drawing. That's lovely. Runak, I have not watched RRR yet. I'm going to try and do it soon. Kaylin is eating plant-based nuggets in Tennessee. Ricky said, just finished work listening on your way home. Oh, that's great. I'm glad your day's over. How nice. Rude Honey Badger says, hi from Central Washington. Hello. Let's see here. Eva Scott said, let's see here. Lance says, aloha from Hawaii. Hey, Lance. Aloha to you, too. Let's see here. Enron King says, eating noodles from Nigeria. Oh, it's so nice to talk to you. Joe says, in England, having baked potatoes. Matt, always nice to see you. See you're at work here. Are you working double shifts this week? Mikey Brace is having Chinese and resting after an amazing Leeds Pride. Oh, that's great. River Marquis says, laying some floors at work. Oh, I'm so glad we could keep you company. Let's see here. Pinox is enjoying this stream. That makes me very happy. Let's see. Who else can I say hi to? Hey, Stephen from Croatia. Marcus is in Wales reading. Itchy Fingers, congratulations. Good for you. Let's see. Noah says, I'm eating bacon in central Pennsylvania. That's great. I love Pennsylvania. I have family in Pittsburgh. Asher says, hi from Colorado, about to have some pizza. And Connor Joe says, hi from South Wales, UK, just finished Lucifer. Oh, that's great. Newswriter22 says, loved Elvis on the weekend and watching Prey tonight. Oh, Matt, you are still working double shifts. Michael Mark says, hi from Westchester, just got back from the beach in Long Island. I'm glad you're enjoying the summer. Mosa is eating some watermelon from Kurdistan. I love seeing people from all over the world. Like Sharuk is in Pakistan having some ramen. Adam is in England with some freshly baked cookies. Madeline, oh, it's always so nice to see you, Madeline. Eating Pringles, relaxing after work. Yay. Let's see here. Rashad said, sneaking this live stream at work. Shh, don't tell anybody. Chris Vernas says, hi from Southern California, watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And Francesca is in Memphis, about to start school. That's awesome. And then Thomas Clark said, just been to the Brighton Pride Parade having pizza in London. Oh, it must be Pride Day in the UK. And Samuel says, watching from Italy, while Andrew says, Doja Cat. And MDS says, hi from Luxembourg. Oh, Mika, welcome back. I believe, yeah, Mika, well, I can see by your badge, welcome back. Max Vem said, just had Thai curry. Gonna watch Warrior the TV series. Greeting from Vienna, Austria. And Danny Sens is in Madrid, about to watch Frankenweenie. Oh, Lena! Oh, I love seeing Lena. I'm about to watch some Mr. Beast videos. You know, I love Mr. Beast. I often click on him myself. And then Max Simon said, just finished Ms. Marvel. I really liked it. And Jerome says, in Cleveland, about to watch Blackbird. Oh, you're going to enjoy that. That's an incredible show. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me for today's live stream. We had an hour time together. I had a great time talking to you, as always. Enjoy the rest of your day, and there will be a live stream tomorrow and then again on Thursday. And those will be member only. So anyone who's a member, thank you so much. You'll be able to comment on those streams. And everyone else, I hope you enjoyed today's open stream. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.